Hi guys, it's Eunice from Theory of Simple. Thanks for joining me again today. Today's video is a little bit of a tutorial and a little bit of a tour of my home and how I set it up for Christmas this year. This is the first time in 5 years that I have set my house up for Christmas. And that has to do with the fact that the best Christmas of my life happened 5 years ago. It was in 2015, and I had both of my boys and my future daughter-in-law who was here to meet us with me at Christmas. It was also the last Christmas I would ever have with my youngest son because he passed away in May of 2016. And after that, I didn't think I'd ever want to celebrate Christmas or anything again. But in this year of COVID, and realizing that there are many of us who never thought that last Christmas would be our last Christmas with our loved ones, I decided I wanted to bring out a little bit of Christmas cheer and make more memories with my family and friends and share some moments with them because we don't know when it will be the last time we have with them. So this year I set it up, and this time I decided to make it light and bright and neutral, and I wanted to take you on a little video tutorial and tour of my home and how I set it up for Christmas this year. So come along and join me as I take you on my reindeer and snowflake theme Christmas tree and dining room for Christmas this year. I found this sign at the dollar store, and although it was nice, I just wanted to use the metal Let It Snow part on another sign that I'm making. I'm using a putty knife, and I'm just getting underneath the sign to separate the sign and the glue. I found this wooden snowflake at the dollar store, and I'm simply going to coat it with white acrylic paint. Next, I found these wooden snowflakes at the dollar store as well, and I'm just going to spray paint them white. Once everything's dried, I'm going to hot glue my Let It Snow sign onto my wooden snowflake. I'm putting in my hanger now because once I glue on my wooden snowflakes, it'll be harder to get to. And now I'm just going to lay out my wooden snowflakes on top of my larger wooden snowflake. This will give me the nice tone-on-tone and texture that I want for this sign. And I'm simply going to hot glue these little wooden snowflakes onto my sign. I love the simplicity and the neutral tone of this sign. It really adds a nice little bit of whimsy, but still keeps in the neutral tone of my home. So I'm pulling these little plastic snowflakes off of this dollar store tinsel tree, and I'm going to pull off all of the glue and the tinsel, and then I'm simply going to hot glue it to the middle of each one of these wooden snowflakes. This will add a nice little pop of sparkle to each one of the snowflakes, and it'll tie it in to the Let It Snow metal sign in the middle of my sign. Now let's take a look at the finished product as I hang it in my dining room on some artwork. For this next project, I'm using these wooden cups that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm simply just adding some clear polyacrylic to seal it and bring out the wood grain. This will be the base of my next project. Next, I'm using these silver Dollar Tree snowflakes, and the little point sticking through is important because you're going to need to add glue to this, because when we glue it through the center of the white snowflakes you'll see here, it'll push through there and actually adhere and push the glue through the little hole. I got these white snowflake votive candle holders at the Dollar Tree as well, and I think by adding on these silver snowflakes it gives it some nice dimension and pop, and I really like how these turned out. So now I'm adding some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of the votive holder, and I'm simply going to glue it to the wooden cups that you saw me stain earlier. I just turned them upside down so they'll be a nice base for these candle holders. I am really happy with how these turned out. I think they're classy, and I think that the texture and a little bit of sparkle are perfect for my dining room credenza. I took this plate and this candle holder that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm simply going to glue the candle holder to the bottom of the plate to create a tiered tray. I didn't measure, but just used eyesight to center my candle holder onto the bottom of the plate. And I used a combination of E6000 and hot glue. I wanted the hot glue to hold it in place while the E6000 dried. And I found this glass plate and this glass candle holder at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do the same procedure here. I'm just going to add a thin bead of E6000, and because this is glass and the glass plate will show the glue, I'm making a really thin line of glue on here. Again, I'm really just using my eyes to center it and then taking my fingers and just trying to make sure that it's pretty centered. Next, I took these reindeer ornaments. They were 2 for $1 from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted them to stand up and they wouldn't, so I'm just hot gluing them together so they'll be more stable. So I took this glass jar that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I have these fairy lights that go into wine bottles, and I'm going to put the fairy lights inside of the glass and then just add these different sized ornaments and vase fillers inside with the lights, and this will become the top of my table centerpiece. I simply add the reindeer, and here's how it turned out. I found these picks at the Dollar Tree that had all these pine cones on them, and I'm simply going to clip them off so that I can use them inside of the glass jars you see here. I got these glass jars from eating yogurt, and so I just rinsed them out. They're really nice. They are nice little tiny vases, and they work really well for this project. Now I'm clipping some liver greenery from projects that I've done this Christmas, and we'll use these to add into the glass jars. I'm going to take these white pearls that I also got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue them onto the pine cones to add a little bit of white and a little bit of sparkle. Now all I have to do is put my little pine cones into my little yogurt jar, and then I'm just going to layer in little bits of the greenery just to give it a little more texture. To finish this off, I'm going to take this silver twine and I'm just going to wrap it around the top edge of these jars and tie them in a knot. And it just adds a nice little pop of shine and finishes off these little votives. Now it's time to set up our centerpiece on the table. I found these white cleaning mop heads at the Dollar Tree and I thought they'd make an interesting white snow effect centerpiece on my table. Since I'm going with that snowflake theme, I thought these would be perfect. To the center of this, I'm adding a spinning marble trivet, and now I'm going to add my second layer, which is going to be my white plate, and then my third layer, which is going to be my clear plate, and start stacking up my centerpiece and adding all the elements. I've had these beautiful snow globes for years and I love getting them out every year. They just make me smile. I love the tone on tone and I love that they're just perfect for this table. We're going to start layering on the bottom first. We're going to put our little pine cone votive glasses on the bottom layer. I love the simplicity of this, and they add a little bit of a natural element to this very white tone-on-tone centerpiece. Next, I'm adding these tiny little glass votive candles. We'll put 4 of these in between each of the pine cone votives, and this will add a nice little bit of light to the center of my table. On my second layer, I'm adding these little houses that I got at the Target. I think they were the dollar spot. And I am also adding these little trees that I got at the Target dollar spot, and just alternating these onto my second layer. And then you'll see that I'm adding these tiny little glass ornament pine cones in between, just to give a little bit more texture to my second layer. I like how the silver of the houses is picking up the gray of the marble, and even though the trees are white and blend, I love that tone on tone feature that's going on in the centerpiece. I spray painted these votive holders that are tree shaped from Target white and set them on top of some birch candles that I turned upside down. And here's my centerpiece for my dining room table for Christmas this year. I want to start working on the place settings, so I found these flannel cloths at grocery outlet, and I think they were 6 or 8 for like $2.99, and I'm simply doing a fold here where I can actually insert my silverware into the actual folded napkin. I'm simply taking some ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree, I love it. It looks like there's snow on top of it, and I'm simply cutting a piece and wrapping it around my placeware. We're going to set up the table, and we're going to start with this $1 snowflake ornament that I got at the Dollar Tree and use it as a placemat. And then I'm simply adding the $1 plate from the Dollar Tree and some ribbon that I found at Michael's that had snowflakes, and just simply layering on my plates and then my placeware. And then I found these beautiful lighted porcelain snowflake ornaments that I thought just was the stopper for this. And here is how my snowflake and reindeer themed dining area turned out. I start every Christmas by opening up my box of Christmas photos. It is just one of the best parts of Christmas, is looking at all the happy times of Christmas past. I built this little niche in my kitchen, and I thought this would be the perfect place to set up a few of these precious photos and memories so that every time I'm in my kitchen, I can relive all these wonderful moments. I keep my ornaments in boxes, and every Christmas it's like a little treat. Like I get to open up gifts and see all these precious ornaments and all of the memories that come along with them. And I just love sitting down and opening each box and putting each ornament out and looking at it. I'm starting off by using the snowflake themed ribbon, and I'm going to cut it into little about 1 foot lengths and just stuff it into little parts of the tree to add some color and fullness. I have a pencil tree, and I'm using these tiny little lights, and even though it's small, there are 600 lights on this tree. After adding the ribbon, I add these flowers that I got at the Dollar Tree. Some of them clip and some of them are just picks, and I'm just placing them in various places to give a little bit of that color and again to fill out the tree. Since there aren't any children at home anymore, I really do love taking my time and decorating the tree, just spending the whole day just listening to music and putting the fireplace on and just spending time enjoying putting my tree together. These ornaments have a special place in my heart. They were given to me the year my son passed away, and they just mean so much. They have wonderful sayings and they're just beautiful. I'm mixing in ornaments that I got at the Dollar Tree right alongside ornaments that have been passed down and are heirlooms in the family. I'm using that same ribbon that I used for my place settings, and I'm just simply winding it through the tree. It adds a nice little shimmer and a little bit of sparkle and looks like snow. The top of my tree and the picks are from the Dollar Tree. And here's a look at how my tree turned out. My bedroom's my sanctuary, and I spend quite a bit of time there even when I'm not sleeping, so I wanted to bring a little bit of holiday cheer to that area as well. I added some beautiful pillows and candles and a small little tree that just fits the tone and color of my bedroom. I do a gratitude practice every night, and this simply is a perfect place to be able to do this in my room. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video tutorial and tour of my Christmas tree and my Christmas dining area that we set up for Christmas this year. I'm really excited about this light, bright, neutral, airy decor that we have. It brings a lot of brightness to a time of the year that's a little bit dark, and to a year that's actually been a little bit dark. I'm really looking forward to having a very small gathering with my parents and possibly my brother this year. We're going to try to make it as safe as possible, and I hope you're going to make some great memories at Christmas this year or during the holiday season. And if you're going to be by yourself, I hope you put up some decor and have a great meal. And if you're going to be with family and friends, please, I hope you are able to safely and healthfully celebrate your Christmas holidays together. So until the next time, and probably next year, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for joining me.